Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a high-level best of 3 between Christianer and a Zerg player that usually has more hatcheries on the other side of the map than on his own side of the map. It's of course going to be Fjant, the Swedish Zerg, who doesn't only play a powerful macro game, but is very fond of, throwing in a bit of a curveball. Actually, a curveball is probably a bit too standard. It's like I remember as a kid I watched the Robin Hood parody film Man in Tights, I think it's called, in which the Robin Hood shoots a motorized arrow in the back of the the archery target, and as a result wins the archery competition. Now Fjant is kind of like that, where regular baseball players would throw a curveball. Fjant has a motorized ball that hits you in the back of the head and actually knocks out the guy that is trying to bat the ball away. The batter? The Batman? What do you call that? Probably not the Batman, although that would be a very nice name. We have a drone here coming in with a scout. And we have a second drone as well. And this is a build that Lorimbo told me about. He said what you do is you go for a 12 pool, you proxy a hatchery, and then here comes the banging part of this build is you also proxy a second hatchery. And then the Protoss player needs to deal with 2 hatcheries as well as trying to hold the wall. Now this drone for now is just going to try to block the block, I think. No, it's going to block. Okay, he locks his opponent out. Away. Oh, that is interesting because that means that both of these buildings are now under heavy fire. Christianer realizes what is going on and says, hey, I probably need to try and attack this hatchery. Don't forget, once this gateway falls, these lings are going to run in. There's going to be loads of service area here. Well done. Definitely well done here by Fjant. As he manages to get in a decent position. This zealot is going to get caught. Look at that. Lings now flooding in. 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. 1 zealot has gone down. More lings are on the way, of course. Is the queen being produced at home as well? No queen being produced at home. Hatchery in the main base, however, is getting very close to finishing up here too. The first adept is about to pop out. Cybernetic score getting closer and closer to being ready to help out here as well. Queen now starts. I think this is going to be in the main base. This is the first set of links is also popping out. Here comes another zealot that's going to get taken out most likely. Lots of links still attacking the core rather than anything else. Links now are going to run past, wanting to get the zealot, but instead maybe just run by the cannon. I do kind of like that. Hatchery under heavy fire here as well, as we get a cannon in the main base. This is not going to achieve a whole lot. Well, if it gets up, it will, but I just don't think it's going to get up. Fighting on creep is going to be tough, as the Zerglings are going to be a bit too fast. Both the zealot and the adept are going to get caught. The queen pops out of here. We get an inject in the main base as well. Still have a bunch of links popping around here too. I don't think anything from this side of the isle is gonna come into the main base, so it's just going to be this little thing over here that's gonna take care of majority of the production. Single adept, not gonna be good enough. GG gets called. Fjant's gonna win game number 1 at a very rapid pace. Our second game is starting with a proxy hatchery into an 18 pool double extractor trick. No, extractor. Okay, double gas. This is different. This is new. This is not what we're used to. This feels to me like it's going to be a Ravager Queen all-in, which I haven't actually seen played in a very long time. Sometimes Zerg players would play a build like this if there was a map with a Rich Vespine Geyser. So they'd proxy the hatchery, take the Rich Vespine Geyser, get 3 drones in there ASAP, and then on very low eco go for a Roach Queen from that hatchery. See how Christianer is going to deal with this threat. If I recall correctly, the way that we would play against that was by playing, I think, 3 gate openers. So you get a lot of Zealot Stalker, and you're really just brute forcing with nice production. Stalkers are really good against both Lings and Roaches, if you get them in big enough numbers. And production for Zerg is not necessarily brilliant with a build like this. As the first queen is indeed starting here. Gonna get a zealot. Now, zealots are great if you're killing stuff. Zealots are not as great if you're just sitting there smacking a hatchery around. And right now, it's just sitting here really smacking a hatchery around, which is frustrating for the hatchery, but it's probably not gonna kill it, although with 2 stalkers coming out now. Already down 500 HP from where we started. These roaches need 10 more seconds. Hatchery down to 750. Don't think you're gonna get this hatchery, but it is getting into the dangerous territory here right now. Queen actually taking a lot of damage, which could be a problem. We get an inject, says, hey, I'm just gonna give up this queen, but I want something back for it, and that something is going to be one stalker, plus I think a zealot here that you can definitely take down. Okay, we get a bit of micro back here. Metabolic boost is on the way as well. No queen in the mix. The reason why the queen is important, by the way, is in case you're playing against a Stargate, you want to have him. But as we're not playing against a Stargate, you don't really need to have it. Triple Stalker against roaches are great, obviously. Link speed has just finished up, but only 6 links are out right now. One Stalker is going to fall instantly. Second Stalker on the way out as well. Let's see if we can catch that. Zealot's taking a lot of damage. Zealot will fall. Okay, this is the situation that I kind of remember. 3-gate Stalker with batteries versus a Ravager Link setup. Now, it's very important to actually hold your wall, because all of your production is in your wall, all your tech is in your wall. Pylon in the back is also a little bit scary, of course. Ravager count not necessarily very high, losing those initial... I think he lost some roaches, right? Yeah, the initial 2 roaches is frustrating, because now he's just floating gas that he would have loved to spend on something different. Losing the queen is also frustrating, because that queen could have been injecting and building more garbage, building more crap. You see, this is all bait. He's waiting for these stalkers to move out far enough so that the links can get the surround in. That is going to be the major goal over here, and so far it's not really working out. We have a drone that's now being sent down, so I actually think that Fjand is planning on expanding. This is really hard for the Protoss player, by the way, to figure out what actually is going on. It's like, hey, are you expanding? Are you playing a macro game out of this? There's no real information here for Christianer. Like, he doesn't know anything. Well, he knows some things, but he doesn't know if there's a nexus on the other side of the map. So this is now kind of turning into like a very odd macro game. Now, don't forget, Christianer is not theoretically allowed to move out. And there's really a second part of this trick as well, which, imagine you scout this hatchery. As a Protoss player, you're probably pretty tempted to go kill this thing. Hallucination really does need to get the scout though. Like, it is very, very important. But if you do go there to try and kill it, that could be an issue too. So it's just really hard to figure out what the right call is. It's like, do you want to pressure a bit? Do you want to get like a really late Stargate into the mix as well? So the Ravager's now moving around. Rocks are being cleared. Twilight Council. This is not necessarily the structure that I would have imagined to be thrown down. I feel like against such a big ground threat with low eco, almost no queens out, if even any. Like, even a late Oracle is going to be absolutely fantastic. While Blink is great on Stalkers, it doesn't pack the same punch against Ravager Ling as an Oracle or 2 would. So, these Ravagers are now trying their absolute best here to deal some damage. Actually gonna a couple of Biles on top of this Sentry army. Link's trying to run in as well. A couple more Biles raining down from the sky here too, but these Ravagers are not being microed optimally. And I think one thing that Fjand is really regretting is losing 2 roaches early on. If that hadn't happened, and you still have 2 extra Ravagers in this push, which, let's face it, the money was there, I really think this could have turned out very different. However, push hasn't ended yet. We're going to continue roach production, and probably more Ravagers as a result of that. So we see, yeah, 3 more Ravagers coming in right now. It's going to bring us up to 6. That is some serious damage output. 37 links is still good enough to deal with this army if they're away from batteries. And if they can get us around. So, I mean, Fjand obviously still needs to get something done, or try to get something done. And now the question is just going to be, can he do that? As 3 more Overlords will start instantly. Templar Archives on the way, Robotics Facility, double gas. To me, it smells like we're going into some type of, maybe like Immortal Archon Zealot type of vibe. Yeah, but we're just going to need to wait and see. You could make a case for like a Prism Archon drop, but I really much would prefer getting an Immortal just for the added like padding into your army, the extra safety. Another thing you could decide to do is to try and to take out one of your own gateways, or let your opponent do it. It makes the maneuverability a little bit higher, makes it much easier to defend everything. As a Zerg in this situation, what you could do is attack 3 buildings at the same time, rather than kill one first, giving your opponent that flexibility. Because right now, it's really easy for Christianer to defend these 2 buildings. Well, if you attack all 3 buildings at the same time, and then with like 1 bile on each, you kill all of them, you get 3 buildings guaranteed, and then this position might just be too open to really defend. So there's always a case to be made for that. I still think that Fiant is going to get everything here, stacking into Lair as well, getting more Ling Roach. This is just an extraordinarily awkward situation right now, though. First Immortal is out, second Immortal on the way out. Ravager count at 8, Ling count at 53, drone count only at 36, which is obviously going to be the biggest downside here. It's just the lack of workers, the lack of tech, the lack of basically anything that matters in a real game of StarCraft 2. But so far, we haven't really played a real game of StarCraft 2, and I'm not sure if Fiant is planning on playing a real game. He's going to get Glio Reconstitution, more roaches in the mix, sending some of these OVs back home as well. So Christianer, meanwhile, is going to go up to 6 gateways. He's lost everything in the natural, obviously, which is not great. Lings lose a lot of their prowess the moment the Archons come out. As the 3rd hatchery also gets thrown down. The 3rd hatchery almost feels like bait, but it's also a necessity, because if you kill your opponents... Ooh, Fiant, pay attention. There we go. Needs to pull back. Lose a couple of Lings there, though, for free. That is dangerous, as Overlords are making their way back across the map to the motherland. What was I gonna say? I don't think that Fiant can play an actual macro game just based on his eco position, based on his lack of upgrades, his poor tech. So there's probably going to... Ooh. I was gonna say, there's probably gonna be some type of trick. And that trick here is gonna be called Mutalisk. So you get the Spire in the main base. And don't forget that the reason why Christianer isn't attacking here is due to just lacking information, not knowing how much the opponent really has. And also, would you really want to attack into someone if your eco position is this much better than your opponent? So the answer is probably no. Spire is going to go up, but also is going to get scouted, and I think that might just trigger a move out. I could be wrong on that. I'd be surprised if I am, though. The moment the hallucinations see... Oh, he's just scouting bases. Oh, and he sees a lot of roaches here. I don't think you're attacking into this if you see 3 drones. Like, as Christianer, realistically, don't forget there's no response here whatsoever to the Spire. Okay, now you see the Spire. Now you probably do go. No? At least to force the opponent to build the roaches. So the hardest, like the worst thing that can happen to a toss is that your opponent can spend all of his gas into mutas. So you want to stop that from happening by forcing more roaches out, which is exactly what Christianer is doing. That could maybe trick Christianer, though, into an attack that he doesn't really want to go for. Like, there are a bunch of Zealots. We have some Sentry force fields as well, but with good kiting, anything is possible, obviously. A couple of Bowls raining down from the sky. Kiting is good. 141 supply to 110. 137 supply to 112, as we still have 3 Immortals in the back. A couple more force fields, but that's the last batch. As Archons are starting to fall here too. 8 more Roaches coming out right now. More Biles coming down from the sky. Archons have disappeared. Ooh, behind is a nice Ling run by. Now that the Archons are gone, by the way, Lings are going to be fantastic at dealing with this threat. And here we go, gonna come in for the flank. We might just get a recall here, or at least a pickup on both of these Immortals. Fiant is going to surround his entire army. Don't be confused though. Fiant's position is still extraordinarily weird and kind of weak, but also strong at the same time. Like, the moment he gets 7-8 Mutas out, there's not going to be a Stargate. We don't have Blink. That means the only way to deal with it is by having a Prism kind of ferrying Archons from the main to the third to the natural. So you're chasing Mutas with a Prism with Archons in it. That is not a very consistent way of playing. However, it is possible, and especially against low Mutant numbers can even be quite effective. Hello?
Your probes are under attack.
The merging is complete.
And he must remember that there was a Spire. Losing this Prism is really bad if it ends up happening. Okay. It's not going to lose, that's a huge deal. It has been damaged a lot and there's no batteries. So now putting the Archons into the Prism is a much bigger risk. Oh no, there are batteries. Okay, so we do get a bit of repair. No battery in the main base, however. No battery in the third. So yeah, this is what is going to happen every single day of the week, right? You just need to get these Archons into better positions. As Fiant is trying to get some kills here. 5 Mutas to kill a probe. And that's going to be the name of the game for the next few minutes. I think it's going to be Christiana chasing Mutas around. Well, we're at 47 workers to 48. Mutas count for economy because they clear the opponent's economy here at a relatively decent pace. We also have a lot of mining time that is being denied here. Behind this, by the way, we get a full roach attack, which is, I think, a very interesting approach. A cool approach. It's an approach I'm a fan of. Mutas are taking a lot of damage here. I really think this is a... He's being too aggressive with these Mutas, almost. Like, too keen on really getting big kills, and as a result, he's just kind of getting cleared here right now. Lost 4 Mutas, end up killing 4 or 5 probes, which is okay, but it's not great. Muta's still looking to... It's almost like an AI versus AI game, you know, where both players don't want to get in range of one another, but they kind of have to. Oh, Muta tried to go for the snipe on the Prism, doesn't get it. Instead, we're going to get Tunneling Claws right now with Burrow. No upgrade still for either player, although +1 is on the way, and it's about 20%-ish done. Yeah, a weird situation. Weird situation. We have roaches now moving towards this general area. I hope he doesn't show them right. Like, this would be crazy. I think this is like a scout almost. It's like seeing, hey, are you here? He is here. Okay, well, that sucks. Showing off Glio Reconstitution, which does have like a visible mark. Leaves a visible mark on the roaches. There's a tell, which I'm going to show you guys right now if you're not aware of it. Look at this. These little spikes on the back are going to color yellow. Pop. Very clear. It's one of the easiest tells on an upgrade finishing. This is now going to start moving in forward. Christiana should recognize what's going on. It's like, hey, wait a second. These guys seem awfully shiny and fluorescent all of a sudden. It's like I'm at an 80s rave. These things are moving into the natural. Do we actually have observers here to help out? Oh, no burrow being used. Now we get the burrow. That was very late though for Fjantis. The third base has already gone down. At the same time, the Zealots managed to chase away the drones into the natural. There's not a whole lot here to help out. There's a Ling, there's a Queen. A couple of roaches are about to pop. Don't forget, these roaches don't have any upgrades. We're still continuing to push in further and further as the roaches in the main will take out the robotics facility. That means we're going to be left with just a single observer, which is... Oh, completely out of position. So a burrow once more would save these roaches at least temporarily. At the same time, we're pushing into the natural. 30 workers to 42. More Zealots now moving across. Drones are burrowed, which is obviously the right call. Roaches over here are helping out as well. As we still have a couple of burrowed boys in the main base. 10 workers gone down for Christiana, but this base might be in some trouble. This ramp is going to be tough to come down to. We're going to need to use some good zoning storms here to help out. I'd love for Fjan to try and just kill this base while biling the ramp. I think in the... Ooh, he's not biling the ramp. I think biles on the ramp here are absolutely essential to try and make a clean run for it. At the same time, we have the roaches on the other side. Sorry, the Zealots on the other side, which are being cleared by the roaches right now. Fjan is going to keep this low ground for now. We have a bunch of storms out. Enough roaches to hold. Base did go down, though. We have one mining base, which is going to be the third. We have a main base, which is there. We have a roach warren, which is still there as well. As Christiana attempts to go down the ramp. I wonder if Fjan should give up this area or just try to keep it for as long as possible. He's very low in gas, but very high in minerals. Double queens would not be a luxury. It would actually just be the correct move to make. A couple of spine crawlers would be lovely to see here as well, but it is not what we're seeing quite yet. Right now, Fjan is in a very, very dominant position in this game. Drones being pulled away. Roaches need to move over to help out. Yes, a couple of drones actually are going to end up falling. The most important thing, of course, being gas mining. So that's also what we're going to keep an eye on. Overlord Vision is going to show Christiana trying to move down this ramp once more. I think a double roach split, a couple to the main base and then the rest over here at the third, is probably going to be the way forward. I also wonder if you want to actually add Ling Ravager or just more roaches. So Ravagers sound nice if you're, you know, planning on holding this position for a long time, but I think eventually you're probably going to need to give it up. Temporary burrows on the roaches with tunneling claws, by the way, would help him out. We need a continuous stream, yeah, there we go, of biles. Fjan should have been doing this a while ago and starts it now. This makes it really hard to walk down this area. Almost impossible to walk down this area. Another Ravager comes in. This is good consistent output here out of Fjan. APM of 386. Here comes Christiana. Moves down the ramp. Roaches in the back, not really helping out. A couple more biles raining down from the sky. We have one new Ravager that shows up as well. problem here being is that the immortal count is very high. The upgrades are solid as well here for Cristiano with +1 versus 0-0. Roach Run by now comes in to try and go for a full-on base trade. I love this move. Where are the probes? They're all in the main. All 11 probes left in this game are stuck in the main base. Don't forget, if the win condition in StarCraft 2 is clearing every single building. If there are no workers, actually, even if these workers are left, it's just going to be over. This Nexus is going to be cleared, so that means we're going to go into a full-on base trade most likely. Cristiano is not responding to the threat in the main. He's now going to try to drop a double immortal there to deal with this. I do think that the Fiant needs to be a little bit careful. He's cleared the final Nexus, which is great news for him, obviously. But the problem here could be that he doesn't have enough damage output to deal with this. Cristiano's base has not been rebuilt and is being revealed. So at this point, Fiant knows that as long as he kills his opponent's buildings, he's going to be freaking cooking. Immortal drops here, putting in some serious work as well. And I think the only real thing that Fiant can do right now is run across the map with everything, see if he can mine as much as he can, maybe get some proxy hatches on the map and go for a full-on base trade. It's obvious to me that we're not going to win a direct engagement. That should be obvious to him here as well. However, he keeps trying to at least snipe some units out. And I guess theoretically, if you kill 3-4 Archons for free, like, you can always borrow your Tunneling Claw Roaches. So you can get a snipe, you can piss off. You can get a snipe, you can piss off. And it's the same thing over here, right? On top of that, we also have the ability to run back with a lot of these Roaches. So maybe if you take, like, he's already taken out 1 extra Archon since last we watched. Don't forget, the Observer is here, and that means that these units can start attacking. Fiant, you need to hide a little bit better here. Needs to heal up. Probably, oh, these guys definitely need to start coming back home. So these 2 Roaches are clearing a lot of units out here too. See if we can get a snipe maybe on something. Seems unlikely at this point. I wonder what Fiant's plan is going to be though. Is his plan going to be to full-on base trade, or is his plan going to be to try and kill this army with his last remaining forces? We have 1 hatchery, 6 workers total. None of these workers, however, are out on the map. And that, ooh, if this one gets out, that would be huge. Just one of them getting out is actually a massive deal here. Blink forward. I think Blink, oh no, Blink is not available. Because that means you can put an extractor on the other side of the map still as well. So we have these Roaches back in the main base right now. And I wish this would have happened much faster. Don't forget, there's no second observer, so burrows cannot occur here. Or sorry, burrows cannot be spotted. That means that burrow micro would be such a huge deal. Individual Roaches could, of course, always be micro. There we go. Get a bit of that going on here right now. 57 supply to 51. Cristiano swiftly losing a lot of his buildings. Not sure if it's going to be quick enough, though. Of course, on top of this, Fiant's also going to have the high ground, but if the Prism with the Immortal stays alive, 5 Immortals versus 26 Roaches, especially given that there's +1 as well, it's just going to be a very hard sell. Like, I just don't quite see how it's going to happen. I think probably the best course of action here is to try and focus down these buildings. I just don't think it is possible to clear these buildings at a high enough pace, though. Makes you wonder if sending back the Roaches earlier was the right call, or if a full-on base trade was exactly what Fiant needed here. As, yeah, Roaches now are going to get cleared. We get a couple of big fat storms on top of this army, and well, that's a very weird game, starting with a proxy hatch into a Link Ravager all-in, into 5 mutas of a 43 drones. I think is going to end over here on Ruby Rock. Game number 2 is going to be going the way of Cristiano, and he ties up the series. And that brings us to the final game of this series here on the Madness that is known as Winter. Cristiano opening up with a Pylon Scout. Wants to have his info ripe and early here today. Not waiting for any shenanigans. And it's actually going to be allowed to block his opponent's natural, I think. Fiant's a little bit late with sending this worker down. He's even going to go for a 17 hatch to finish things off. This should be 100% blockable. Cristiano doesn't believe it. You know why Cristiano didn't believe this? Because this hatchery went down at like, what, 51 seconds? That is a solid 6 seconds later than it should be if it is a normal 16 hatch. So Cristiano saw that and was like, okay, this is too late. This is bait. This is fake. In reality, it was late because this was a 17 hatch and because a drone already made its way across the map. Now Cristiano's going to be too late to stop his own natural from being blocked. And Fiant with the Omega mind game here is going to be getting at least a minor lead in the early game. There are some aggressive options from here on out as well. But it is generally considered... What the hell is... Oh. Okay, wait. Let me finish my sentence. Then we can talk about whatever this is. It is generally considered to be better for Zerg if you get a hatch first at home, and then you get the third hatch down on the opponent's natural. This is just a good situation. If the Zerg plays this out accurately, they're going to be up a couple of workers over their normal position. It is much, much better. Now, Christianer here is opening with kind of an odd little response. He chronoed out a Zealot really quick, delayed his cybernetic score by about 10 seconds, I think it was. I think it's going to finish 2-7, 2-8. Okay, so he delayed this by about 8 seconds. We're going to have 2 more adepts coming in as well. And from here on out, Fiant is completely relying on his own proper response. If Fiant knows how to respond to this threat, he should be ahead. If Fiant doesn't know how to respond to this threat, he could take significant damage, but I hope he won't. He's going to go for the Evo, which is a mistake if you go against double Zealot, because it just gets cleared really quickly. Drone's going to make its way into the main base. Usually, we're going to see fast speed here. Although right now it is not quite what we're seeing. Okay, there we go. Fast speed. No third base, obviously. And the drone is going to move out. One nice thing here for the drone is that it saw the lack of a Stargate so far. So you know your spore timing can be pretty delayed and maybe even completely ignored. Just conceptually, as 2 queens are going to make their way downtown. 2 zealots, 2 adepts, and a dream here as Christianer starts running in. Probably going to need at least 10 links in order to deal with this. I mean, links completely out of position to deal with the shade. Luckily, the adepts actually didn't finish that shade. Otherwise, the main base would have been in significant trouble. Like, it's actually in an unplayable position here is what I would say. So these 2 adepts might actually end up going there. Nope. Instead, we're going to get a queen quick walk around. Okay, Adept's taking quite a bit of damage. Lynx once again trying to go into the main base. This has dealt way more damage than it ever should. And it's going to deal a little bit more damage. I think at least 2 more workers will end up falling. Potentially bringing us to 3 workers killed here. Okay, it's just going to be 2 workers killed, but lots of mining time lost. I mean, Oracle's now on the way. This Nexus is extraordinarily late. Let's not pretend that it ain't. What the hell is this? Oh. This is also a really interesting move, which, you know what? I was going to say I'm kind of neutral towards this, but I'm not neutral. I like this move. So standard scouting pattern here would be third base into natural, and you would not fly towards the far left. You never would. Sending these links across the map is actually shooting Fiant in the leg right now, in his foot. You don't actually care about any of this, I think. What you really want is your mind game of having the third base over here paying off. And that's most likely achieved if your opponent gets an Oracle scout in. So you actually want this Oracle to scout the lack of your third base. And then ideally move in towards the natural. But because Fiant is being so active with the links, Christianer is actually pretty afraid of moving out with this Oracle. Now he's going to go, and he's going to see the lack of a third. I hope he doesn't see the creep on the left. It would be a fantastic little mind game. Look at this. Oh, this is such an unfortunate timing for this base, because Christianer is going to feel so much safer as a result of it. If this base isn't here, and you're playing 3 base versus 3 base, but one of the bases is hidden, then Christianer is probably going to be adding a bunch of batteries. He might spend his chrono boost different. He might not build as many probes. And his Oracle would probably be going back home right now. Now it has spotted the creep on the edge. It doesn't actually show on the minimap, or barely shows on the minimap. It kind of blends into the fog of war that's still there. So I do believe that Christianer is going to be a little bit confused. Like, none of these Oracle kills would have happened had this third base not started. You could say an oversight out of Fiant, or something he maybe couldn't have known. It's also something you could believe, of course. Either way, unfortunate situation. Fiant was in a really good spot before this. I still think he's in a pretty decent spot as well. Like, it's not like, oh no, the game is over, you should not jump headfirst out of the window. No, like, not at all. I'd almost never suggest that, and definitely not in this case. There's no queen here. Spore slightly out of position, needs to be positioned a bit further down here. As we're going into lair already. Low queen count on 4. Double Oracles making their way across the map. As the Overlord goes for the scout, sees, I mean, pretty much everything, to be honest. Templar Archives, you probably know it's going to be charged, you probably know it's going to be +1, and I think roaches here are a fantastic response to what's going on. 54 workers to 53 right now. We're going up to 7, 6, 8 gates of our 4 gases, while Fjand heads out with Overlord speed, Roach speed, no +1 once more. I feel like this is, so far in this entire series, we actually haven't seen an evolution chamber. I could be wrong on that. I actually don't think I'm wrong on that. Am I? Maybe in the last game we had one in the end? I don't think so though. I don't think we've had any Evo chambers quite yet in this series. Double Archons now moving out. So you have like a weird little roach move coming in here too. It's going to be extraordinarily awkward. It's like kind of like a semi-base trade here, because there's no units at home. Not even the Oracle, so we're going to get an instant recall, are we? Probably should get an instant recall. Pilot's going to get targeted down here. Recall with a bunch of Zealots and the Archons. Does mean that the Roaches should try to run away. Look at that. Nice little maneuver here. Using the gateway hole against a Protoss player. Love to see it. It's the abuser getting abused. What a superpower that is. Oracles are going to clean up this little force though, and the follow-up is once again going to be Mutas, just like in the previous game. It seems like Fjand has a plan. Does have the ability to take 8 gases, and even on low drone counts they can be very scary. This time around, however, there's going to be a Stargate, so Phoenixes are on the menu. We already have +2 on the way. Archon count is pretty decent here too, and we have double Oracles out, so it is hard to imagine this actually doing something big or really doing anything whatsoever. It's of course possible that it's going to be doing something, but I'm not super feeling it. We have 3 batteries now coming out. Christianer's afraid of what, you might ask? Well, I think he's actually afraid of many things in life, and right now mainly a roach attack, and fair play to him. It's also what I would be afraid of. We have a couple more drones on the way, still no Evo chamber. First 6 Mutalisks are about to pop out. The Spire in the back has gone completely unscouted, I think. Mutas will make a bit of an impact on this game. So here comes the Evolution Chamber. Yeah, +2 Windstorm already on the way. I'm just not seeing this, to be honest with you. He's going to lose another 3, 14, 16 supply there or so. I think the Prism went down. Prism went down. Zealots being slashed and hacked to pieces here as well. These queens are going to try to move a little bit further forward. This smells like a pure roach attack, but actually the roach attack is a mere distraction here, away from the Muta move. And the Mutas are dealing quite some damage. 8 workers going down at an instant. The other side of the map, we have Zealots being destroyed here as well. A few more Stalkers being warped in, as 11 probes, 12 probes, 13 probes end up going down. 14 probe will fall as well, 15 probe will fall. And 6 more drones come up here. This is almost turning into a macro game, but at the same time, just another all-in as well. Like, it feels like right now, Fjand could transition into +1, get an infestation pit, and, you know, they play a game. But at the same time, he also could just go across the map and kill his opponent, I think. Like, there's probably something that can be done here. Mutas are going to come and deal with these Oracles. +1 range is coming in as well. We have a 3 Zealot run by. Fjand is sending a lot of forces back to try and deal with that. Probably not quite ideal, because it's going to give Christianer a lot of time here to get ready to deal with this push, which is fully being scouted. We have 4 Templar available, 2 Storms on one of them, 1 Storm on all the others. Good set of force fields once again. So far, Christianer's force fields have been on point. Resource lost, however, is completely evens. The 5 Mutas might make their way back into a natural. A couple of Stalkers ready to give them a warm welcome. Zealots being sent across the map as we're heading into, I guess, the first real attack that we have coming in here with the Roach Ravager. Before was kind of a fake to try and get the Mutas to do something. 8 workers going down. This is looking good for Fjand. Taking out so many workers here. Has 73 behind it. We do have the infestation pit I was mentioning going up in the background. Biles are beautifully zoning out this army. And ideally for Fjand, he trades out at least a little bit. So that's going to be very, very important. Drones are going down on the other side of the map as well. It makes this push a little bit more aggressive than it should be. Doesn't seem like Fjand is really realizing what is going on. Busy microing this army. As a result, loses 13 workers. That changes the perspective of this, or the outlook of this game a little bit. As now Christianer doesn't just have a better quality army, he's also going to have pretty decent eco. While before he had god-awful eco. I mean, his eco stayed the same, it's just Fjand's eco became much worse. So it feels fine. Fighting, 2.5 base versus 2.5 base is okay. Fighting was practically a 3.5 base versus 2.5 base is not okay. Now units are gonna get sent home. We do have Hive on the way, but no real follow-up either. It's not like we have a Hydra Den already out. It's not like we have a Lurker Den on the way. So the only viable transition is Greater Spire, maybe? It's definitely a possibility, right? I mean, Blink is out already, though, with +2. What are you gonna do? Get like... Imagine you get like 8 Broodlords out or so. Is that really gonna move the needle? If you get to attacking your opponent, it probably is a pretty big deal, but... I don't know, it's hard for me to imagine this being the bee's knees necessarily. Oh, Zealots are trying to run by. Roaches will catch this. Fjand is moving over to attack a fort base that doesn't exist. It's going to be 8 gas versus 6 gas. 52 workers to 59. As Ravagers once again getting caught a little bit out of position. It's been a very interesting series with a lot of back and forth. Storm's actually casting on top of these Immortals. Another set of force fields here is helping out. Oh, can we get another bunch of Biles? Yep, we can. Get a blinking forward. These Immortals are actually taking a lot of damage against the Biles. That is something we're going to need to keep in mind, obviously, is that these Biles, they can kill stuff. Yeah, the Hive just feels odd here. Like, what are you going to get? Ultralisk? No. Infestors? Like, alright, I guess. Like, what's the point? You can cast a Fungal or two, but not going to change the outcome of this game very much. I don't think so. I mean, catching this army would be huge, don't get me wrong. We're actually going to get a base trading move here coming out of Fjand as he defends with Ravager Infestor. Says, hey, if you try to attack into me, I'm going to fungal you, I'm going to bile you. Meanwhile, my roaches are going to go for the base trade. This is a really cute little maneuver that leaves Fjand up about 30 supply. Get the double split offs. Some roaches going into the natural. A lot of them going into the third. Biles do need to be controlled still. We have no extra infestors in the mix. Biles are truly connecting with this force again and again and again and again. We almost have the exact same situation, but completely different to the last game, where it feels to me like Fjand in a base trade is winning in a big way. I don't think he can ever kill this army straight up. He's going to need to use Ravagers for that, I think. And infinite kiting, pretty much. We still have the ability to build Mutas as well. I don't think that would be useful, but it's something that maybe you could do. As Fjand here is going to get caught kind of off guard. He's building 12 Ravagers in the natural right now. This is the most awkward engagement that I've seen in my life. With so many units still stuck here, not really being used. We have a lot of Ravagers out here as well, which are also not really being used. He's going to throw some Biles out. Okay, we get a flank in here too, but Storms, of course, can stop that flank from happening. Ravager count still good. Worker count still fine as well, by the way, for Fjand. So Fjand out-mining his opponent, still in his opponent's face. We have a... This actually already got spotted here, by the way. Like, this is a... That is a wild play here. We're just going to go back with Stalker, Archon, 2 Immortals, and an Immortal Templar army that's moving out as well. So I think the split army, both of the split armies are going to be capable of taking out the Roach Force, which is obviously going to be a major issue. Here comes an Immortal flank from the top. And I actually... Oh my god, and the Templar flank as well. Another good storm. I think Fjand might just be dead. I just don't really see a way for him to maneuver back into this game, so to say. Like, he's in a world of trouble right now. It felt really good for a second, but then losing everything because your opponent recalled and kind of quartered your army, that really... I mean, it made the situation... Like, losing your entire army often is the incorrect play. It's probably something that Fjand also realized. Yeah, and at this point he's just kind of bleeding out. I mean, this force is way too large. It is crazy though how similar these games have been. We have some long distance mining, despite there still being some active patches in the main base. We have like 9, 10, 9 immortals. Wow. 9 freaking immortals. Poof poof. 7 escort here is gonna get taken out. 4 links are on the way. We're gonna get Burrow, but I mean, this is... The funny thing is that there's actually not a whole lot, I think, that can detect. Well, why would you warp in Archons? If you just get a single Void Ray, you also win the game. It's like, there's no anti-air. Or like an Oracle would be sick as well. Gives you end detection, and... But yeah, I guess it don't matter. GG gets called. Christiana's gonna win the series 2-1, but a fun series it was for sure. 3 games, 3 proxy hatches, but every single one a little bit different than the previous one. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you all did enjoy this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.